Yo, hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jason back with another video. I'm doing this almost as like a response video to Vinyl Ritchie. No diss to Vinyl Ritchie. This is more inspired by Vinyl Ritchie because he's going year by year, and I'm sure many other people are doing that as well or have done that. So I've been trying to do my year by year, but I'm picking a tough one right now. Well, tough in the sense that I don't have a lot of records from that year. Easy in the sense that I don't have a lot of records from that year, so it's not as hard to pick from. There's a couple things straight off the bat that I'm missing that I would have probably put in my top 10, but because I'm just going to do it based on what I own or what I have in. So this is my best of 1974, a year before I was born, so that might explain why I don't have a lot of musical references from that year. This is stuff that I accumulated over the years. And I should say, if you watch my channel, I'm a huge 80s fan, 80s and up, 80s, 90s, 2000s, etc. I don't have a lot of stuff from the 70s. Well, I shouldn't say that actually, because I have a lot of disco. I have a lot of disco and funk from the 70s, but surprisingly enough, not a lot from the 74. So here it is. Number 10, I'm going to go with Billy Joel and the Street Life Ceradide album. Got this for $8. It is not a Billy Joel album I've heard or listened to a lot of. I'd say my favorite track on here is Los Angelinos for sure. Roberta's on here. It's pretty cheesy, corny. Weekend Song is also kind of fun, sort of like a Elton John kind of show tune. So yeah, there it is. Not my favorite Billy Joel album, but not a bad Billy Joel album nonetheless. So if you see it for cheap, under $10, $5, pick it up. It's worth it. It's Billy Joel. Can't go wrong. Yeah, I was going to say this is kind of a sense of a response to the Vinyl Ritchie Best of 74, which I'll put a link down below, because these are all records that he did not pick in his Best of 74. Maybe he considered some of these, or maybe he didn't. Nevertheless, number 9, I'm going to go with what I was just playing on the turntable. Sax man Sonny Rollins. This is The Cutting Edge. Just slipped this one into my top 10 because I was like frantically looking for a 10th record. I had 9 picked out. And not an album I listen to often either, but it is totally solid. And in that 70s fusion era, really cool fusion track we're just listening to now, which combines bagpipes, so Scottish bagpipes with sax. So really cool track. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot version of that. That's on side 2. Side 1 is really excellent too. The Cutting Edge title track is solid. This one's a little cut up, so I have to get my jazz cheap when I can find it, and that's a good one. Sonny Rollins, excellent stuff from the 70s. I guess I'm sticking on a I'm going to stick on a jazz 70s fusion tip. And up next we got see already 9, 8, 9. This is number 8. This is going to be Herbie Hancock's Thrust album. An album so good that I own 2 copies of. This is one of those records that when you see it, you just want to pick it up, even though you already have a copy of it. It's not his best album by far from this era. Kind of like Headhunter is probably the best in terms of really standout tracks. But this is that same kind of era. Let's see who is on deck here. Bill Summers on percussion, Paul Jackson electric bass, Beanie Maupin on sax tenor. So all the guys in the back. It's pretty good. It's a little bit on the cheesy side, I'm not gonna lie. Palm Grease is kind of fun, but it kind of gets a little too wicca wicca, kind of like a little too I don't know, Dynamite kind of 1970s comedy show. But nevertheless, the man is a genius. Herbie Hancock in his electronic phase and mixing funk and soul and jazz fusion. So that is my number 8. Number 7, I'm going to go with Curtis Mayfield, which maybe Vinyl Ritchie showed this one. I'm not sure if this was in his top 10. I got a copy of this for $6. I gotta confess, I'm not a huge Curtis Mayfield fan of the voice. I don't know, maybe I like the voice, but I don't like the music or the arrangement or just something. Never been a huge fan. Although he did, what was it, Superfly, you know, but at this point, you just heard it way too many times. But track I like on this one, of course, Mother's Son. Best track on this one. That's first track on side B. The rest of it, kind of passable. It is a 1974 release, also available on 8-track back then too. My only album by Curtis Mayfield in my collection, and that's it for now for Curtis. So, that was 7. Number 6, we're going back to some Herbie Hancock. This is a soundtrack, so I don't know if that's cheating or not, but it is a 74 release. Of course, the mighty Death Wish series with Charles Bronson. I remember watching these as a kid. It was just like, wow, Bronson is totally badass. It was like him and Chuck Norris, and then Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of dominated. But in the beginning, you know, it was all about Charles Bronson. You know, you didn't mess with him. I got a used copy of this, paid $15 for it, which is maybe a little on the pricey side for a somewhat beat up copy. As you can see, somebody took to coloring in the letters with a marker, and also did it on the back too. So yeah, you got it. Yeah, so Chuck Bronson on the back cover. Some more writing on it. Vinyl's in pretty good shape though. Again, somebody had some writing to do. Anyway, cool ass soundtrack. Herbie Hancock, very mysterious, dark sounding soundtrack. Pretty cool, 70s. Alright, that's, they're getting us in at 5 now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Number 5. Okay, number 5, I don't think this was shown in Ritchie's picks. A little bit of Queen. In fact, I'm not sure if Vinyl Ritchie likes any Queen at all. I don't think he's ever shown any. Sheer Heart Attack, which is actually a killer track on News of the World, but is not on this album. This album is called that, but it does not have that song. This does have Killer Queen and Stone Cold Crazy, and those are the two biggest tracks on this album. So it's pretty good, Queen. It's not my favorite. News of the World's probably my favorite, but it's okay. It's solid. It's number 5. Yeah, it's number 5. Basically, it wouldn't be above the next ones. I guess it's above the ones I just showed. I don't play it that often. I haven't had it for that long. It looks at one point it was $2.99, so I got a deal on it. So that's my number 5. Number 4, I am gonna go deep on the soul funk jazz tip again with Idris Muhammad. Power of Soul is a sick album on the Kudo label, which is 70s soul funk jazz sublabel of CTI, Cecil Taylor, and anything with Kudo or CTI, solid stuff if you're looking for 70s jazz fusion. And this was a reissue that I got for only $12. I don't know if you can see that sticker. Maybe about 10 years ago, well, maybe 7 years ago, I picked it up in Toronto at a shop that's not there anymore, June Records. And arranged and conducted by Bob James, who, by the way, had a great 1974 album. I think Bob James 1 is in 74, and I feel like I had it at some point, but I couldn't seem to find it in my collection. But Bob James, of course, is all about the CTI label, and he was sampled to death by hip-hop, and he hated the fact that he was sampled. And this has also been sampled too. Kind of nice, breezy, sort of jazzy groove, sax on there. Power Soul, side 1. Side 2 is also good. The second track, Lauren's Dance. Basically 2 tracks per side. Joe Beck on guitar, Ralph McDonald percussion, Randy Brecker trumpet, and yeah, there it is. Recorded March 1974. Idris is on drums, actually. I didn't realize he was the drummer, but I have a couple of Idris albums. This one is the best of the two. So that is number 4. Number 3, going with this one. Just the cover alone, you got to put that in your top 10 for 1974. I mean, wow. Stellar. The Sun Goddess by Ramsay Lewis. Another amazing jazz man doing amazing stuff in the 70s. So, yeah, this album is really solid. I just put it on again. I hadn't really listened to it in a long time. It's got loads of grooves on there. Very solid. Good listen. Sample ready as well. The red Columbia labels. So yeah, Ramsay Lewis, Sun Goddess. If you see that one, pick it up. Definitely a must-have for that era. I have a lot of Ramsay Lewis stuff. They all seem pretty good. Yeah. Oh yeah, this has a lot of like electric guitar and electric piano organ on this. It's really good. So that's my number 3. Number 2, I gotta go with The Legends. Kiss. The debut album. Still one of my favorite Kiss albums of all time, actually. I should mention, too, that I could have had Hotter Than Hell in this top 10 as well, but I don't have Hotter Than Hell on vinyl. But that also came out in 74, apparently. This is my $8 copy I got at Academy Records in New York City a ways back. And this is the debut, so it's got like, what's it got? Strutter on here. Firehouse. Love theme from Kiss, which I love. It's an instrumental. Deuce is on here. 100,000 Years. Black Diamond. Yeah. Cold Gin. So a lot of their legendary hits right from the get-go. First album, Kiss. It's my number 2. And then number 1, I had to go with this as number 1. Just the amount of amazing tracks on this album alone is killer. Probably one of the best Stevie Wonder albums of all time. Or one of my favorites anyway. Fulfillingness, First Finale. Wow. Let's open up to get the words. Yep. There it is. I just realized something too. This writing is on 2 or 3 of the other records in this top 10. Maybe a radio station or just somebody just tagging them up. But yeah, Heaven is 10 zillion light years away. Boogie On Reggae Woman is killer. Creepin'. You Haven't Done Nothing. Wow, what a hit. Please Don't Go. And of course, They Won't Go When I Go, which is just haunting ballad. So if you need to get some Stevie Wonder in your collection, I highly recommend this album. I'd start with this album. This is just solid. So it's 70s Stevie, and every track is probably amazing too. I'm just listing off the ones I'm remembering, but it's an album you can listen all the way through. And I got it for $7 too, so I got a deal on it. That's my top 10 from 1974. I don't have a lot from the year, but let's see how many I get for the next year's coming up.